Certainly, Madam President. Trustee Townsend. Present. Trustee Fields. Trustee Gainsley. Here. Trustee Goodrich, I am here. Vice President Lee. Here. President Hawkins.
Here. We have 6 Board of Education members who are present and 1 who is absent. Next, that takes us to the Pledge of Allegiance. And at this time, I'd like to invite the public and all of those members present to join us in reciting of the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our next item on the agenda is our acceptance of the agenda. Is there a motion at this time to accept the agenda as presented?
Madam President, Vice President Lee, move that the Board of Education accept the agenda as presented.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Vice President Lee. Is there support for this motion? Thank you. Supported by Trustee Fields. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to achievements, awards, and recognition. And at this time, I would like to turn it over to Dr. Zachary Ross.
Thank you so much, Madam President. At this time, we are very fortunate, and I see they are definitely in the house to have Ypsi Community Middle School come for their points of pride. And so we'd ask their wonderfully established building leader, Mr. Charles Davis, to come.
Good evening.
Good evening.
As you can see, I am truly blessed to have such a supportive and dynamic staff that supports me in educating our students at Ypsi Community Middle School. This has been a labor of love, but it's also been, you know how they say iron sharpens iron? When you're around so many people who have a passion and a drive for students to learn and reach their fullest potential, it's refreshing every day. So I don't miss work because every day I get, it's like a recharging that happens for me. I am really, really blessed to just be able to share with you some of our points of pride. And we have one of our dynamic, where's she at? She in the 6th grade, but she is just, she's so bright. And she's going to start us off today. I want to introduce you, Ava. So, she told me she wasn't nervous. What we want her to do is, we're going to go through our points of pride. Ava is not just an honor roll student. She's so quiet, but her grades speak louder than anything else. The way she was, I mean, I always say mannerable, but at the same time, she's been truly raised and loved, and that's always endearing. She has a brother who I'm gonna be talking about a little bit later when I come to you with the next thing. And what we're going to do is, if we can go to that first slide. Yeah, I'm not going to have her read all that. But basically, that just tells you a lot about who we are. We're growing. It tells you a lot about, a lot of the activities that we're going to end up talking to you about. The staff, we almost got 100 staff members over there. And that's it's like I said, it's a blessing to have the district support us with the needs and the people power that we have. In the back, you just see a portion of of a part of our staff, but it's so many different staff members that are there. So, and again, our whole goal is we're committed to fostering a positive and inclusive learning environment for all students. And I think that's what we live every day. Can you do the next one, please? So that's just our admin team. That's me. Ms. Harris, Mr. Oles, and Mr. Blanchard. 75% of our team is here. Mr. Oles regretfully had to bury his younger brother, and he's coming back from Alabama, so he's not here with us today, just here with us in spirit. Next. This is our vision. This was, and it's ever changing. I think I want you to, can you read?
At Ypsilanti Community Middle School, our mission is to create a safe, supportive, and inclusive learning environment that fosters students' achievement. We believe in nurturing every student's unique abilities and providing them with the necessary tools and resources to reach their full potential. Through data-driven decision-making, there are continuous improvements. We strive to deliver high-quality instruction and personalized support, celebrating student success along the way.
So cool with that. Can we go to the next? So this is our mission, and I'm not gonna make her read this one. But this one is another one that is changing. And our vision at Ypsilanti Community Middle School is to be innovative. And we get that from the superintendent. That's what that's her, I mean, that's like the core where she wants us to be. And so that innovative educational institution, and we want to exemplify excellence in everything that we do every day. Let something be misspelled, it's gonna come down. Some of that just is not gonna change, but our goal is to be exceptional and excellent every day and providing a safe and supportive environment for all our students. And that's, when we say all, we mean everybody. So we created a school culture that embraces diversity, promotes inclusivity, and values each student as individuals. We work really, really hard on that part, just trying to make sure the kids know that we see them, they are important. And again, it's not like we have favorites, we love them all, but at the same time, we try to put our arms around each and every student. Through data-driven decision-making. Now that's the me part of it. If it doesn't make, if the numbers don't, you know, they say women lie, men lie, the numbers don't lie. Yeah, we live by that too. So we make all our decisions, not about who we like and what we like, and not what's best for us. It's that data-driven part of it that really pushes us to make those type of decisions. So we will continuously strive for improvement because we're never going to get to where we want to be. But we're going to ensure that every student receives a high quality education that prepares them for success in an ever-changing world. Our biggest goal is to make sure that every kid is on grade, is exposed 85% of the time to just getting that curriculum at that grade level. So even when we have to differentiate, which is a big buzzword, we try to make sure that that part happens. And together with our dedicated staff who are behind me right now, you know, and engaging parents. We even, I mean, like I said, that's that triangle: school, the parents, and the students, and that supportive community. Just overall, you're going to hear about some of them in a few minutes. We will empower our students to become lifelong learners and responsible global citizens. And that's kind of aligned with everything that the district wants us to do. So it looked like it's 4, but it's way more than 4. But we're gonna go quick. So can we hit the first one, please? The culture and climate, inclusivity and diversity, positive relationships, support and engaging environment, and positive discipline. Just for this part right here, I think, where's Mr. Sharon? Do we have like 47 different nationalities? Yeah, wow, it's so many countries and flags on our walls. We're trying, and every day I think we get new babies. Every day. And so diversity is who we are, it's how we do everything that we do. And positive relationships. Our teachers not just know our kids, they know all this stuff about. It's building that real relationship is how you get them to do what they don't want to do. A lot of them would love to just play video games all day, but what we want to do is build those relationships. And everybody has a person, and that's the goal. And to make sure you have real, genuine relationships and supportive, engaging environment. If you come visit us, and I know I say that every time I come in here, we just want you to know that everything about what we do is supportive and it's engaging, and our environment is, it's just that. It really it's just built that way and it's natural. So that makes everything, I guess, work really well together. And positive discipline. You know, restorative practices are not the easiest thing to do, but at the same time, it's the right thing to do. So with this positive, I mean, we try to, if you go into our rooms, you'll see all these different things that step 1, 2, 3, 4, before you get to the point you have to come see me. Or Mr. Blanchard or Ms. Harris or Mr. Oles or Mr. Irvin. So it's steps before that happens. So teachers are really trying to engage kids to make the right choices before we have to go to the next step. So that positive discipline is really, it's working for us. But at the same time, it's one of those things that's an ongoing thing too. So let me get the next one. Yes, Student of the Week is my baby, so I'm gonna go say this one really, really quick. Student of the Week, basically our teachers, they nominate students to be recognized that exhibit, it could be attendance, behavior, improvement in so many different areas. When you come to our building, one of the things that we do, they come to my office, I take the pictures myself 90-some% of the time. I go put it in the Canva myself. I have to thank my wife because she created the whole little framework, but I actually do that part by myself because she has a whole nother job of her own. She got the time that she used to. And so that being the case, I put them in and Miss McGee will laminate them and we put them on the wall. And it sounds like a small thing, but at the same time, kids are, you find them sometimes in the hallway taking a selfie with the camera change, with their, you know, and when they don't see their picture, well, I know I made it where it's again, we want to acknowledge them for doing the right things. A lot of times in schools, we spend a lot of our time dealing with that 10% of kids who crave your attention in a negative way. And what we're trying to do is flip that around and we celebrate everything. And so that's the Student of the Week. So when you come visit and you get to going down by the elective hallway, you will see hundreds of kids' pictures over there. And you know, 9 out of 10 times, you know, everybody doesn't almost make Student of the Week. So it's a great thing. What about next? Oh, is Ms. Harris get this? Yes, come on up, Ms. Harris. I gotta give a shout out to Ms. Brady. I don't think she was here, but we stole this one.
Good evening. So positive referral bingo is something we started a few months ago. And we have a bingo board, 100 chart listed out in the hallway. And teachers refer students for anything that they're doing that's a positive. It can be a on the spot kind of a thing. Those sheets go to Principal Davis, who then calls the parent right then and there, tells the parent the positive thing that's happened, what their child has done. We draw a bingo ball, that number, so they get number 57, their name goes up on 57. And when we get a bingo, not only do the students get a pizza party, but the staff who referred them get a pizza party. So it's rewarding both of them for doing it. And it's been a really positive with the parents and with the students. And we're really close to our next pizza party.
So, honestly, the hardest part about this one is I literally call parents every day because their kid did something positive. What we, and again, I start off, they're not in trouble. They did something great today, and I just want, and literally they're 30-second calls, and like I think on my desk right now, it's like 22 of them. So kids are being recognized all the time for these, and again, it's just, I mean, for me, it's like one of the best parts of my day because I'm not calling you because they didn't do anything right. I'm calling you because they made a positive, you know, they did something positive, and we want to just recognize it. And I generally end those calls with, give your baby a hug because we appreciate you and them. So, you know what I'm saying? Just so, again, like some of our parents, they do get those calls because, yeah, they were like me when I was a kid. So I got the calls too, but I didn't really get the positive ones, but I did get all of the negative ones. So again, we're trying to give our babies what we didn't get, and we kind of shut them down. What's next? Ooh, this gotta be, yeah, she's coming.
Hi,
Grizzly Greatness is our PBIS program. We started last year. It's evolved. Not only does it give positive points for students for doing the correct thing, it also encourages attendance because you can't get points if you're not in school. They turn them in for rewards or we have a PBIS store we got from Scholastic and a lot of donations going through. Teachers have an opportunity to get points, so the more points they give, the more points they earn. We keep learning executive skills because they have to keep their card in order to get scanned. A lot of data, a lot of positive culture climate building. It just giving praise to that positive energy.
And it's electronic, so it's an app. So even when kids forget their lanyard, they are so quick to go find it on their app and say, I don't want to, because in the morning, one of the things we do is we give out points for being in line correctly. It's so many different ways, but if they don't have their lanyard, they pull out the app. Like I said, we're innovative, so we're gonna make sure that is what we kind of push. So, honor roll. Okay, yeah. So before she gets up here, she shops for us. She creates these beautiful environments. So when our honor roll celebrations, which have grown tremendously, I just want to thank you publicly because she gets the team. Yeah. And as you see, when you see it, I mean, you'll see a lot of it's a team effort, but yeah, I mean, I know this group, you were flipping pancakes. Y'all don't even understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're going through. Oh, yeah, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and let you talk.
Well, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It's beautiful to see so many familiar faces and I'm just really blessed to be here and be able to serve with all these wonderful people whom I love dearly and we really love celebrating our kids. So for the honor roll celebrations every quarter, if students have achieved a 3.0 or higher, all A's, B's, and maybe one C at the most, but but no D's or F's. As long as they have a 3.0, then they are invited to a special celebration. Each one's a little unique. And so the first time we had a taco bar and the kids enjoyed chips and salsa and to see them get so excited. We had every team leader call their students' names and to see any student that may honor roll. So it doesn't matter what program you're in, if you're a RISE student, if you made honor roll, you made honor roll. To see their names get called and they're so excited and like run, you would thought they wanted Price is Right, want to know shout outs. So, and the last quarter we had a pancake breakfast, but we try to do it big because we want to celebrate academic excellence. And so that's our name, that's who we are. And so in terms of we want kids to do well and that high quality instruction, we want to show off to those kids that you received that instruction and you demonstrated your ability to learn, and we want to honor you. And so, and every staff member, they get really excited about it. And so we even have the staff members all serving, including the 180 staff and people that come in and work through the ISD, we invited them to help serve too. And so just like we came out tonight, we have such a strong sense of unity around student success in the classroom. And so many teachers, they stay after school and tutor kids and do extracurricular programs. And so this is a strong effort that led by our wonderful administration. And I've been so proud to be a part of this. And I'm so thankful for all of you all done to make this happen for us. Like bringing Mr. Davis and all these people here.
Mr. Blanchard is listening. Mr. Blanchard and Mr. Richardson, I have to say this because I probably won't say it again. Fun Friday is something that we started new. Having people, like last time we did it the other day, kids didn't get picked up to 7:51. We told them to call at 6:35, call your parents. So just after you work all day and to have them come and help us put everything together and that teamwork, it's like I said, I thought about that while I was watching the Super Bowl, just how great, I had Mr. Johnson and Mr. Blanchard, and like I said, it's 8 o'clock and we're unloading all the stuff. That's just again, I just want him to talk about it, but again, I just want to say thank you guys so much because it could be me by myself, and y'all want me to stay around a while. That I need help. I appreciate you guys. Hello, how's everybody doing today?
Good.
I'm moving up a little bit, I'm a little taller. Yes. I can just speak like this. Fun Fridays is a great way for our students to get to know us outside of the building. It's a way for them to interact with us and really just have a good time and realize that we are people. That we are there for them, not only in the school setting, but outside the school setting. We have opportunities like basketball, sports, soccer, football, even things as far as video games, arcade games. So we interact with those students in every way. Swimming, anything you can think of that we can to try to show them that we are there for them, not only inside the school, but outside the school. That's what we're there for. So Fun Fridays for me are a chance for me to interact with all of our staff, all of our students, and really just everybody involved in the community to support our students the best way possible. And also it's a great way just to, like I say, enjoy the time being in YCMS. So focus on academics. So one of the things that, this is like Miss Harris's baby, this, PD in our building, I didn't even put a picture in it because the majority of the people you see behind me, they are in here getting PD. And so thank you, Dr. Lopez, for making all of that happen. But yeah, our staff we are the professional development capital of Ypsilanti, I'm sure, because it's like 50, 60 people. It feels like it's everybody in there getting PD all the time. The tier 1 instruction piece, I mean, we make sure more than anything that part happens, but we've been really focusing on tier 2 and tier 3. So when it comes to interventions, we're gonna go to the next one with that. And then even with that social emotional learning, I'll talk a little bit about that. So with the roadmaps, yeah, you the roadmap expert. Come on up.
Middle school is piloting roadmaps for the middle school specifically. I know the elementary school started it last year. And it's a great program that allows our students to have self-paced instruction at their fingertips. So students who are absent for whatever reason always has access to the instruction. Students who are bored in class no longer have to be because they can continue on with their lessons. And students who are behind, I have so much more time to sit with them and work with them and find out what barriers they have without holding the rest of my class back. So it's been a great way to do ELA.
So next we got some of our interventions. So one of the things you heard from one of our interventionists. So now you get to hear from the other one.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having us. I do math intervention at the middle school, and I really enjoy the opportunity to work with all of our students 6th through 8th grade. We've been working with them during elective time to help get them up to speed, pulling them out of classes and working in small groups. And honestly, sometimes it's just I can try, I can do this. And the motivation to try every day is what is making all the difference for our students. I'm really proud of the growth that we have shown even just from fall to winter this year. So intervention, I think, is doing what it's supposed to do for our students.
So next we have, and again, I want you guys to understand, you and Alex and Read 180 and getting that 100 minutes, they just had a competition, right?
Yeah, the Alex competition, it's not over yet.
They're doing it. So the kids are, again, we're celebrating everything that they do. I think we made an announcement for the top 10 users. So kids are asking in the hallway, how can I get in on that top 10? So again, that's working. So next we have our ML support. This is one of our areas where there's so much growth in our building and probably in our whole district. So come on, this is Sharon.
Hello. So our ML program has grown exponentially over the past couple of years. I love working at the middle school. We have a great team of ML support. We serve the students on a daily basis in class, teaching them English and guiding them in their reading and writing. And then we also push into their classrooms and support them with their content, helping the teachers to differentiate. Like Mr. Davis said, we have over 30, almost 40 countries represented. We have at least 8 languages spoken throughout the building, not including English, so 9. And
And
what
I
else?
think one of the biggest things is the growth that those students are making. It's phenomenal what's happening. We have some students that have come in 1 month and not know any English, and the next month it's not just good morning, it's good morning.
And they want to learn, and they're excited to come to school.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so again, it's just refreshing. Like I said, we have 100 ml.
We have almost 90 now.
Again, it's growing, and I think we keep getting things in every
We,
week, honestly, just every week. So I know we have Ms. Michelle, we have Ms. Katie, and Ms. Williams, who I don't see. But again, they work so well with just the translation. And then we also have Ms. LaSalle, we have Ms. DeHaan. So we have 5 people that really help us with this translation thing all the time. Sometimes that phone doesn't help, it doesn't help me the way I need to be. I might get it wrong. And so together, that teamwork is really making everything else work well. So that's been really good. So thank you. So, okay, it's your turn.
Which one do I read? Ross Clinic telling it to
CIS is, community and schools, so we have a person that's there full-time in our building, that's Ms. Avery.
foster grandmothers, Pathway to Success, Big Project, EMU Bright Futures, Trails, 826 Michigan, Park Ridge.
And so, so again, those are, so those are, and again, these people are in our building. If not every day, all the time. So again, it's just really, really helpful just to be able to, it's teamwork makes the dream work. And we're just really blessed and to have all of these partners that come regularly. So that's gonna be it's a beautiful thing. Come on, son. See. And that's what we wanted to say. Just wanted to say thank you for allowing us to share our points of pride with you guys, and just thank you for your time tonight. Thank you for all you do.
Madam President, may I make a comment, please?
Yes, you may.
Mr. Davis? Where'd he go? Mr. Davis? Thank you for a wonderful presentation. Thank your team. That was beautiful. I'm loving everything you're doing. But, we may have to, Trustee Fields and I may have to get on that Fun Friday. and get some missiles.
I hear you, but I just saw her today at the building, so your turn. Yeah, we got music, so Yeah, we'll hit the Tamia Hustle on, yeah. Anybody got any questions? I'm sorry, you know, it's a long day. Anybody got any questions?
I don't have any questions. I do have a comment. What I will like to say is I too am very excited about everything that's going on at the middle school. Culture and climate is a big thing for me. And I think when you can, get that going in a positive direction, it just trickles down to everything. I do love that you all have a standard of excellence in all areas, and our children are meeting those standards. One thing that I know is fact is that people still like to freeze the middle school in time. But I applaud everyone that works for the middle school, that is not deterring you from moving forward and changing the narrative about the middle school. It just, how everything looks, it looks like a wonderful place to be, a wonderful place to work, a wonderful place to get an education. I'm so excited for next year and all that's to come. And people will know that when they come to the Ypsilanti Middle School, Community Middle School, and I like to put the because that's where we're at right now. We're going to that they're going to have a great place for learning for their children. So I appreciate everybody and all that the work that you do, and please know that it is not in vain. So I'm just excited for where you all are going.
Are there any other board questions or comments? I would just like to end by saying, Mr. Davis, it has been a joy to see the energy, the enthusiasm, the engagement that is permeating in this room, and also I know within the school. And to Trustee Townsend's point, I do hope that this energy and what we're cultivating in Ypsilanti Community Middle School does permeate in our communities, so that we can tell our own story and not let someone else tell it for us. From the Grizzly Greatness to the Student of the Week, I had to write all this down because I was just like overjoyed. I was like, wait, I gotta write all this down. Student of the Week, the honor roll, the positive referral bingo, and having your wonderful scholar, Ava, stand up here with you to present. Everything that you presented here today is a testament to the hard work that is happening under your leadership, but also a testament to the absolutely phenomenal staff that has always been at Ypsilanti Community Middle School. So I just want to give everyone here a round of applause. Thank you, Ava. Are there parents here as well from Ypsilanti Community Middle School? Okay. I just want to say thank you to the parents who are here and the parents who aren't here, who are maybe watching virtually. And if they're not, parents are our partners, and without you, we can't do this. So we just thank you for being here tonight. We thank you for all you do to support your children and to work in partnership with our schools to make sure your children get the very best education they deserve. All right, next can I get a sweatshirt? I come to the middle school. Okay, I'll be there maybe sometime this week. I wear a size medium. Size medium. You're so kind. Next, that takes us to our first action item this evening, and that is under student affairs, and that's the acceptance of our field trip, and that's for Ypsilanti Community High School, the RCTC Culinary, happening April 12th through the 14th of this year. Is there a motion at this time?
Trustee Townsend, I move that the Board of Education approve the overnight field trip of the Ypsilanti Community High School Culinary Program to Grand Rapids on April 12th through the 14th, 2024.
Thank you. A motion has been made by trustee Townsend. Is there support for this motion?
Support, Vice President Lee.
Thank you. Supported by Vice President Lee. Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, a motion was made by trustee Townsend, supported by Vice President Lee. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to the acceptance of a field trip request from Ypsilanti Community Middle School happening March 20th through the 24th in Atlanta, Georgia. Is there a motion at this time?
Trustee Townsend, move that the Board of Education approve the field trip of the Ypsilanti Community Middle School to Atlanta, Georgia on March 20th through the 24th, 2024.
Thank you. A motion has been made by trustee Townsend. Is there support for this motion? Thank you. Supported by trustee Fields. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, a motion was made by trustee Townsend, supported by trustee Fields. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to our first presentation for this evening, which is our dual enrollment update presentation by Dr. Chelsea Harris-Hugen. I would like to turn it over to Dr. Zachary Ross to introduce this presentation.
Thank you. While the high school administration comes, we are just excited just to hear about some of the updates since last year. The dual enrollment program has been really truly growing under Dr. Hugen's leadership, and so we are looking forward to today's presentation.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to all of our board members, president, vice president. I'm gonna be very quick up here, as quick as I can. I wanted to just take some time midway through this year to talk about some of our CTE pathways and some of the successes that we've had, and then updates for how we are building these out, and then future plans for us. So next slide. Oh, all right, there we go. Dual enrolled, we have increased that to first semester 27. Now we have 42 students that are dual enrolled. Our projected number for next year is 60. Our goal for that is to just increase. This year we started Accuplacer testing our 10th graders. We also adjusted our 9th and 10th grader schedules so that in order to have a successful dual enrollment and to give every student, STEM and AC Tech included, the opportunity to dual enroll in 11th and 12th grade. We kind of did it like how you do in college. You take all of your basics in your first 2 years. So 9 and 10, you take all of your basic classes and we push all those in, so that 11 and 12, you have the opportunity to come to school part-time in the morning, and then dual enroll in some of the programs that we have. CNA, we've increased our numbers. The nice thing about CNA this year is that we actually have more males than we've ever had do CNA. So that's always a nice thing. It was kind of funny because I saw some males going back there and I thought they were kind of trying to cake a little bit with the ladies. And they were like, no, Dr. Hugen, we're actually in the program. Like, all right, okay. So that was exciting to see that. Ms. Smythe works extremely hard to promote that and get our students involved. We've got field trips to WCC that's coming up for those students. D3C3, our new baby on the ground. We currently have 4 students. Our projection for next year is 15. The nice thing about that is we're again Accuplacer testing our 10th graders so that when fall comes, we've already got them enrolled and ready to go. Over the next 3 years, we should have put 100 students through that program. We're working towards increasing our numbers, increasing just the awareness for the program. We've got a lot of students that are interested, even in our 9th grade. I know that, Mr. Hugan and Mr. Davis have, talked, and Mr. Hugan has gone over to the middle school. We're going over to the middle school March, I think, 20, to talk about that to our incoming, ninth grade parents for next year, just promoting all of our, dual enrollment and, CTE opportunities. We just got word from WCC that they will, after we do our Accuplacer testing in March, those students that are kind of on the cusp of not being able to pass, we've got people in math and ELA from WCC that are going to come over and tutor those students, and we'll retest them in about 6 to 8 weeks, just so that we can hit the ground running in September. Cosmetology, we've got 28 students currently. Our projected goal is 40. They are now taking appointments. They are on the floor. So if you need your hair and your nails done, please sign up. Dr. Lopez, we're gonna put you on there first. They were telling me all about the French press and all this other stuff that they're doing. So I'm excited. I'm gonna go over and get beautified with them. But then again, for that, to just increase our awareness, my hope is that we are able to add some internships for that program, so we can get some of our folks that are in the program into some salons through the summers, so that when they go back, they'll have that better and more rich experience. Culinary, that kind of speaks for itself. We added that bakery science piece, and that's just kind of taken off. I've got $16,000. Chef bought an oven. Man, he's got some wonderful stuff over there. This big, huge oven, a cookie cutter that you can put a program in. It'll cut the paper, which is edible paper, and it goes on top of the cookie. Any little thing that you want goes in the computer, any design, and it'll cut it, and it decorates the cookie. That was what, 15? So, and then he's got, oh my gosh, a 8 or 16 burner stove. 16 burner stove that he just put in. So they've got a lot of things. They were actually awarded through the state $16,000 for that CTE program. Auto collision and repair, and they were able to buy some things. They also got a $16,000 grant funded through their manufacturing. Manufacturing got $90,000, which is amazing. John Kim is amazing. He's got some students in there right now. Most of you have, no, I think everybody, yes, you do, have a gift compliments of our manufacturing program. When you open them, it's you'll be amazed, because I was amazed when I saw it. So we're growing that program and introducing some, yes. Please, I'll stop so everybody can open them. Right. Yes, your black card, there you go. So those were actually made by our students that are in John Kim's manufacturing classes. Feel free to come on over. They are taking orders. They are not free. Those are free. We got to pay back some of these grants. No. But he's got that. We've also applied for a grant through the state of Michigan that will give us more equipment to be able to run that manufacturing a tighter, better program. Again, we want to introduce those internships for those programs. Radio, TV, and broadcasting is now CTE certified through the state of Michigan. So that came through last week, Friday. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears on that one. But we got it through. We're waiting on manufacturing to come through as well. But just a lot of things going. And I just wanted to really talk about those programs because it is those programs that offer our students a what's next. Not every single one of our students are gonna go to a four-year university, but this gives every single one of our students a what's next. They don't wake up the day after graduation and like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have a plan. This allows every single one of our students to do a what's next. The next slide that we have are every single one of the stackable credentials that comes from all of those programs that we have. So if you take a look. So our students are on the map. They do our 2-year 11 and 12. We provide the space and the time and the opportunity for them to complete our programs. Here are all the stackable credentials. We had a whole nother page, but I said, it's a little bit overkill. But these are some of the stackable credentials from each one of those different spaces that those CTEs and dual enrollment provides. So it is your belief and your support and dedication to YCHS and all of us here that we truly thank every one of you for that and appreciate you more than you know. So again, visit, come by. I saw some of you this morning with the Divine Nine and the scholarships and all that wonderful stuff. But I thank every single one of you for your support. We we don't have a whole bunch of folks like Ypsi Middle, but we've got some of our people here. If you have any questions, we will open the floor at this time.
I do have a question. For cosmetology, culinary, auto repair, and I believe manufacturing skill trades. Do this program covers their license fee, certificate, or
So
license
those,
fee?
yes. So what happens for some of those for auto collision and auto repair? Yes, because those are given during that program, during our program time. Cosmetology is a state test. So once they graduate, they have our credentials that said you've completed the coursework and have done the amount of hours that are allotted. Then they go to the state and get application and all that to be approved to take that state test.
But they have to pay out of pocket for that, right?
I'm assuming, yes, this is our first year. If we could definitely afford to support our students, I know that we will.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because the students could have completed half the program and then at 8:28, the other half. At that point, we're not paying.
Right.
But if they finish their hours, then by the
2
time they
years.
graduate,
Right.
we would definitely cover that. Because
Oh.
that'll be part of like their school materials, school
Mhm.
supply.
Okay.
and so on.
Okay.
But if they finish the hours after graduation.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, any other questions?
D3, C3 program.
Mhm.
So I believe when we had talked about it before, the governor had a goal, you said of 100,
Mhm.
all right? That includes student and parents,
That includes our side of it.
our side of it,
Mhm.
okay? So are we trying to get 15 per semester?
I would like to do 15 and move it to 30, so 15 for next semester, which would be September. We're having conversations about students being able to come during the summer. So if we have new enrolls, we'll increase that number and count that for next year. But the goal is to do 15 or more, definitely more, the next semester and then increase it. I definitely want us to be able to max out those 100 slots over the next 3 years.
And it does, I wanted to add on, it does add, the 200 parents come involved when the students are there, as well as working with Mr. Hugan and Stephanie, I can't think of her, Croc, and Stephanie Croc.
they work with the, basically. So when I talk to the students, and try to get students involved in it, I let them know that they have family members or friends or whoever in the Ypsilanti community, they can get into that program, they can take classes together, they can stick.
So up to 200 parents.
Yeah.
So that's 300 in total.
Mostly a shameless comment here, but I don't know how I missed that we had a TV and radio broadcasting program that's super exciting, and congratulations on the CTE. And I would love to work with those folks to work on internship opportunities over at Detroit PBS and WRCJ Radio. We'd love to have them come check out our team.
Okay, all right, thank you very much
Yeah.
for that one. Definitely, Miss Brown, heads that up, and she'd be, like, super excited about that. So thank you for that opportunity.
Other board questions, comments? Thank you so much, Dr. Hugan. You keep raising the bar. Ypsilanti Community High School, is doing great things. The access, the exposure, the level of engagement, and opportunities that you are providing for our students. Again, we are telling our story at Ypsilanti Community Schools. And so thank you for all the hard work that you're doing. It was nice to be in the space with Trustee Townsend and seeing all the kids engaged and energized just about options for college, right? And scholarship money, and being able to touch it and touch people who can talk to them about walking through that process. So I just appreciate the presentation tonight and to hear all the great things that are happening in the high school. So thank you so much for all that you do. And thank you. Yeah.
Thank you,
Yes,
thank you.
Thank you.
And to your staff that are here.
Yeah.
Let's give them a round of applause. And I don't know if we have any parents from the high school here, but maybe they're tuning in. Okay.
Oh, yeah. we got-
Thank you for being here. Next, that takes us to our second presentation, Dr. Zachary Ross.
Thank you. For our final presentation, we have Dr. Lopez coming. This is our state required Section 98B presentation. And so he's able to come and bring you the most updated data and information on how we are progressing.
Well, good evening, Board President and trustees. One of the things that I want to start the conversation is the national epidemic that's taking place right now since COVID in relationship to student absenteeism and truancy. And like other school districts throughout the United States, that's become a real challenge, especially with the younger students and also as it progresses into secondary. I want to start with that conversation because I want to highlight in the data that before I present the data today, I want you to see, especially a section, because I'm glad that the middle school is here because I'm going to highlight some of the initiatives that have been employed because our curriculum does work when we're focusing on tier 1 and the interventions. And I'm going to talk to you how it has shifted and impacted the achievement of our students academically. But can you imagine how much more ahead we would be if students were in school? So the biggest challenge that we're finding here, like all district, I don't care if it's Ann Arbor or any other district, is having students come to school. It seems like there's this behavior of, I don't want to go to school today and I don't come, that kind of thing. So just be aware that's one of the challenges nationally. There's a lot of research out there, and I could share that with you. But I just want to start with that because it's challenging. For us in our district, for example, the districts at this point from August 28th until last Friday, we stand at 87% of attendance, daily attendance. We also, the percentage of students with 10 or more days absent is 42%. Do you see that's the truancy piece? Students are out of school 10 days or more. And this has been a challenge. We have, as you know, we have worked really, I work with the community liaison. We conduct home visits. We talk to parents. The schools are calling, the secretaries are calling, the principal, you heard most of our principals are making contacts, whatever. but the absenteeism is real. As of today, the number of students with 10 plus absences is about 1,400 of our students, almost half of our student population. I just want to bring that data because like any other district, doesn't matter where in the United States right now, is a reality. So will continue to market and work with Lambert and work with all our marketing piece to continue to put emphasis and fire behind everybody. So in our campaign, we have a campaign of Attendance Matter, as you see it throughout the community. But that's the biggest piece because if we can get our students here, we can get this job done. Okay, just I want to share that with you because even though we have results, the result could have been better if we had the students here because we find that when we unwrap it and the students have been here, they're showing significant gains. I just want to make sure because it's unfair to judge teachers and leadership and our leadership when in fact we see that there's another factor that's getting in the way. And I'm one of those people, we triangulate data here like day and night, and I just want to be very clear about that. Okay. And talking about today, and I guess I better put my glasses on if I'm going to see, right? Solomon, I don't think this moves. Is it on? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Here we go. I'm sorry. Okay. The law, section 98B, Gold Progress Report. As you know, the progress report requirement of the law is very simple, that we have to provide to the board, present to the board our goals and our progress, right? And we have to do this February of 2024 on this official, the first board meeting. And we will do this again at the last day of school in June. We also must post this presentation on the transparency page. This is pretty standard procedure. We have to have goals. So we have been working with the MDE and our MyKIP plan for not a long time now. We're very direct. We're very focused. The work that the schools are doing on MyKIP is very realistic. When you heard the middle school telling you they're leading with data, that's not only the middle school, it's the whole district, okay? And our middle of the year goal for us is that YCS, our number one goal is that all YCS students, K through 11, pretty much K-12, will improve performance in reading and ELA from fall to spring as measured by NWEA. And we also identify the target that we want to hit, which is we're looking at the 23-24 ELA quarterly expectations that we have outlined. And we want to make sure that the students were meeting those by January 31st, 2024, as similar at the end of the year, by June 30th, 2024, we want to make sure that our students are meeting the expectation. And those expectations grow. Do you follow me? Just like the NW scores as well, that we're looking at that. Similar to this, we have the mathematics as well. So what we've been gauging here is ELA and mathematics, and it's pretty much solid in our district and how we're moving, and this leads our work through MyKIP, okay? Our story, I'm going to skip over some of these pieces because I just want to, it's too many pages and I want to talk about the takeaway. So when you look at this, the takeaway now that we have here, I want to highlight that student proficiency and growth continues to increase, let it be any area from special ed to EL to African American to the different subgroups, etc. We still see the gap between 5th through 6th grade and 8th to 9th grade. That gap is a reality and something that we continue. We're narrowing it down, but we still need, like anything else, we need continue to see that work. We also, and takeaway number 2 is very similar in patterns in our district, and that as you can see, proficiency is growing. Again, what we're seeing is the attendance is the one getting in the way. One of the things that we are seeing with our English language learner is that this year we had an influx of L1 students that are very beginning level. This district has become a district of choice for our students who are born from other country, and that seems to be a growing population, which is a great thing to do, right? That we are seen as a school that's actually providing all types of services. And of course, big thanks to this board with the immersion program, the newcomer centers, what's happening at Estabrook and what's happening throughout the district, the high school, the numbers are huge. The middle school is no different, and it's a good thing, a good problem to have. because it's really we have the staff to support our students and their expertise in the district, and it's great to be positioned in that retrospect. As we move forward, I also want to highlight that the third one here is takeaway is the quality of our instruction, which is that tier 1 instruction with tier 2 interventions and support works. And we're seeing that here. And today I'm going to talk about how you see it in the Read 180 program that we have instituted. And so I want to really congratulate the middle school, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit. But when we look at this data, and I'm going to right here, the reading achievement assessment piece, as you look up the progression here, what I really want to identify is that comparing winter NWA district-wide averages in reading achievement between last school year and this school year, we found that most of our grade level averages reading scores were within plus or minus about 3 points. But this small difference is within a day-to-day measurement variability of the test. So in mid-year, reading achievement at a given grade level is comparable to 2022-23 school year. But we saw gains in the following year. From last year in kindergarten, we saw a drop from right about the beginning of about this time. Kindergarten, where last year was a 144 RIT score, and this year is 143. So we saw a drop of 1 point there. And then in first grade, we saw an increase from 156 to 157. In second grade, we saw an increase from 164 to 167. In third grade, we saw a decrease from 177 to 175. In fourth grade, 187 to 186. So that was another drop. And for fifth grade, sixth grade, there were significant gains from 193 to 195, 192 to 193. In seventh grade, 198 to 196, so drop 2. In eighth grade, we saw an increase from 203 to 204. In ninth and 10th grade, we saw some drops, but then in 11th and 12th, we saw an increase from 205 to 208. 12th grade from 192 to 198. So really levels from similar, so we sustain, but when we're looking at the real data, we're noticing it's the pattern is the attendance that's really keeping our students from attaining these scores. And that is when you get to the root cause of what's taking place. I just, it's a reality, right? So a couple of things, and we can't blame it on students. You know, when like we had in Estabrook, we lost a complete second grade class. When we saw that, we saw some, you could see the data, right? You see the drop in that, but we also saw our instructional coaches step in, and then you saw right away, you follow me, the score boost back up, okay? So the work of the leaders and the teachers and instructional specialists working together pays off. So we've gotten really good in gauging all of that, but the one variable that's really hitting us hard, and this is gonna take us to really work with parents is increase attendance, you know, that whole thing about, hey, making sure that students are in school. On this page, which is the growth, what I want to highlight here is the orange bar that you see there represents fall to fall reading growth percentile. So that's the reading growth that occurred during the 22-23 school year and retained over the summer. That's also why there's no orange bar in the kindergarten level right there. The blue bar, on the other hand, are the mid-year fall to winter reading growth percentiles within the 23-24 school year. Except for ninth grade, all other grade levels showed fall to winter reading growth at least in the 40th percentile. When considering growth percentile, the Michigan Department of Education considers the middle quintile from 40 to 60 percentile to be effective range for teaching and learning, which applies to the vast majority of our YCS teachers. This is when the middle school comes into play. When we're looking at the middle school and their score, this year, YC Middle School is decided to offer Read 180 to grades 6th through 8th grade as an intervention, but it's a tier 1 intervention. They moved it from tier 2 to tier 1. That move alone this year has supported all students and has gained from programs significant. So last year, the mid-year reading growth at sixth grade was at the 38th percentile, while and this year moved from 38 to 46 percentile. And then mid-year reading growth for third graders in this district last year was 40 percentile. And because of the roadmaps and all the things that are happening right there with literacy, went to 44 percentile. We're seeing that roadmap, and you notice that Ms. Warren spoke, Christina Warren spoke of, one of our teachers in the middle school spoke about roadmaps. And so the perspective is we use ELA roadmaps, which is tier 1 instruction for grades 3 to grade 8. It uses a lot of AI tools, and so the students are using all kinds of Google, so it engages the mind. The reason we went with that, because it really puts the student as a leader, so they have voice, choice, and agency, no different than the teachers do. We're seeing that when the students can engage, manipulate, work with each other, it's better results than sitting there as a passive listening to a teacher talk. That does not work, okay? So I just want to hit these because I think are important. In the next page, I want to make sure that's the same one. Yep. And this one is math achievement assessment. When we're looking at here, winter NWA data show that the average math achievement improved from fall to spring for K-8, but we're flat in 9 through 11. And some of those have been the interest that when our students in the secondary level are taking the test, they're rushing to the NWA. And that's been a pattern. They want to get over because they see standardized tests as the real test, and they're still thinking that this is not. But this is a test that we use to engage. So that's something that we're overcoming. And this is not only here, it's even at Plymouth County. When I was at Plymouth County, was this challenge also. So just because they see it as, oh, they really need to do this. But it does help because it projects for us how our students going to do. Okay. On this particular one is the math growth. And as you look up here, the orange bar represents the fall to fall math growth percentile. So that the growth that occurred between 2022-23 school year, and it was maintained over the summer. The blue bar, again, fall to winter growth percentile for 2023-24 school year. All the math growth was about the 40 percentile, which is good news for us, right? And as the point of reference, these growth percentiles are very similar to the student growth percentile measurement that the state of Michigan uses for standardized tests, MSTEP, MyAccess, PSAT, SAT, and the MD considers growth percentile at the range of the 40 to 60, like I just mentioned earlier, as effective, and this is where we are. So we're in a good space with that. Could we improve? Oh yes. Let me tell you, do we have ways to do so? Yes, we have, and it's just I got to go back because as I'm looking at all this, it's that attendance, and then just like it hurts because people are working, and I think Ms. Tillotson, our staff are working, and because at your school, it's rocking it. And when I walk into ACE and see the level of rigor, it is impressive to see that, okay? And I could just say to you, all hands on that. And I think that I just want to highlight because I think it gets to the point where are we working and what's going on? But we got to be that's why doing root cause analysis is so important. And on this one, I want to highlight we're still within the range of the 40% here. So here's when you look at 9-12, and this shows a graphic where all the high school students are within the respect of the growth. For fall to winter, both math and reading growth were near the national average for most grades, with 12th grade showing impressive 66%. The 66 percentile math growth. These arrows point to the fall to winter growth for high school students. The reading growth ranges from 34 to 57 percentile, and math growth range from 41 to 61 in 10th grade, and 61 in the percentile in the 12th grade. And then I want to go to just the mode of instruction. So I have to go through all of this and define the mode of instruction because we got to talk about distance learning because that's part of the law. And I'm going to be done within a second, but I got to get to the slide. And of course, if I don't put my glasses, I'm going to pass it. and we're almost there. Give me oh, here we go. Mode of instruction. All right. So on the mode instruction here, this is, I'm gonna skip that one because I'm gonna go to not in-person, but we'll go to distance. When we're looking at the distance learning under achievement here, what you see is that most of every grade level was up, with the exception of third grade that went from 173 to 169, if you could look at there. And then fifth grade, they went from 193 to 185. And then eighth grade, we went to 217.3 to 217.1. But overall, the rest of the grades were up, okay? In the next page, what we saw here in K8, this is when you're looking at this is learning, we're talking about YC2, okay, IPSI connected. And so third grade is concerning because it's the lowest score we got, it's a 3.7. That's something that Clark and I are going to be meeting with the principal to find out what's going on with that grade level, because something just doesn't pan out very well. Fourth grade was at a 30.2%, so was fifth grade. So, we need to be looking a little bit more. I'm going to be meeting with the staff to see what kind of support, because I know that we have a lot of tools online, and I've been in those classrooms to know that teachers are very engaging. So why this is happening, we need to get a little bit more root cause there. Under this component of math achievement, almost every grade level in that school was up, with the exception of seventh grade, which went from a score of 199 to 197, okay? And then under the growth, 3 grade levels were below, which was third grade, fourth grade, and eighth grade, but all the other grades were up to capacity and meeting their growth target. So in this page, all I want to say is, as we reflect on this mid-year growth and achievement data, we noticed that both reading and math growth have become more uniform across it. This indicates that even with, or perhaps the least particular, because many, as we're looking at the curriculum does work and the pacing is working. We just need to take a look at attendance and continue to work on that. On this other page, here are what's next for literacy. What's next with literacy is that we're going to continue to work with the roadmaps, and within roadmaps, the HMH units have been unbroken, and we're dealing with the 5 pursuits. We have embedded the diverse literacy libraries, etc., into our books as anchor texts, etc. And so these are wonderful. The other thing that's happening to the district is the use of proactive circles. And proactive circles to build what Alina always taught, our superintendent, Dr. Zachary Ross, says about places of belonging, psychological safe places where students can engage, okay? And on this one, the numeracy is really focusing on pilot. As we enter this next year, we realize that we need to pilot a K-5 program. And so we're going to go through a textbook adoption and engage teachers, et cetera. Just so that teachers have been calling, hey, this hasn't been working, we need to do something different. We're working with the ISD, and Jennifer Banks and her team over there, and they're going to be working with us side by side, because today, in this day and age, we don't want to be by ourselves. We want to make sure that we're making good decisions. I'm writing a grant with Jennifer Banks, Dr. Bank, and one of the things that's going to happen is, if we get this grant, we'll get a math consultant that will work with all our elementary schools, and then that coach will not only work and provide professional development, but I'm writing a grant also to purchase all kinds of supplemental materials for our teachers, so that we could get the curriculum, plus provide teachers with a best supplemental pieces. Then as we move forward, the following year, we'll put those the math units into roadmaps, so that it becomes a living down. Roadmaps will become your platform where you store all your curriculum. So that no matter if a brand new teacher comes, you don't miss a skip, because the other person could start right there. And that's what we're trying to do here as we move forward. And the last piece is, what questions might you have? And I do apologize that we weren't able to get it, but those snow days threw us off, and for us to assess students. And so Clark, and I got to thank Clark, because he spent the whole weekend at home putting these reports together for you. And I just, and he doesn't put anything, it has to be very accurate. Do you follow me? So
for a question.
It's a lot to process. Um, one of my questions are, we've gone through, redid the curriculum, we hired, we have the interventions and stuff in place, all of these supports. But then if you don't have students, that's a problem. So I know we had hired this company,
Concentric.
yes, to do all the calls. And so do we have any data from the work that they have done? So, cause you kind of, I know you said you have to go through and dive into what the root causes are, but with them doing this type of work, we should already have that information. Because that number that you gave us was a high number.
So we're working with Concentric. Concentric has, since they have come over, they initially, what we've done to date is they brought our community liaisons, and the team, we have a team, and we met, and then they did a training for all of us. They identify an app where they could enter all the data, and then the schools can see the data so that everybody, that even the teacher would know the home visits that were done and all this other stuff. That's after that, what they also did is they wanted a list of families. So, and then they took our community liaison to walk them through how they conduct these home visits, so that the home visit is not just going there. There's some intentionality, there's some accountability, there's some conversation, specific way to approach different parents. So they've been on the road and doing this for a while to get people comfortable, etc. And then after that, then the next phase is that Clark is the one who provides them the data because they don't know our kids. So then we provide them the data. And then the next one now they're working is also targeting students that left us, so that we could target those families to learn from them, and also to try to get them back and inform them about what we're doing here to get families back. And in that process, as they're entering and talking to these families, we're seeing that we are having families, a little bit more people applying for schools of choice. Do you follow me? As a result, so it's working. Okay. I think it's a little prematurely, but I noticed that it's working because some of those parents said, I like what they were saying, and so I'm gonna send the kid back. Okay. So there's some good things going on with that. So is it perfect? No, but we continue to meet with them. When I come back from my trip next week, we're going to be gathering a meeting with them, Clark and the team and the community liaison, because I want to know from here to June, because we got all these monthly, and I don't want to conflict with assessments and whatever. So I want to make sure that we're living to expectations and meeting all that deadline, because from here to June, they have so many home visits to do. And so as they get us the data that we need, then we'll be able to move forward. So yeah, we're working with them, but again, it's a slow process because they're trying to get acclimated with us as well, because every state that they work is very different. You know, but I don't know if it answered your questions there. That's the only thing.
Okay, so I guess for me, because they came in last year, so we should have hit the ground running in September. So it would be nice to know how many students have they made contact with.
Yep.
Though I know you said the number of students that have 10 or more absences is what we're talking about. So how many students have they made contact with? What are those reasons to why they're not in school? And what supports, I guess, they would need? Because that's a number that can affect a lot of things. And so it would be kind of good to know where we stand on that.
So what I'll do is I'll conduct a report with them, because I'm going to be meeting with them. It's just, I've been pulled in a little too many directions, but we will meet with that and get all that information. I know that they've been collaborating with Clark more with me, and then I meet with Clark in detail, because they want to meet with me when I'm in the meetings. I can't be in two places, and that's been the challenge. But so I will get all that to you in detail, because I think it's too crucial, et cetera. And I'll get that to you.
I have a question. For your reading goal 1 and goal 2, it just says all YCS students will improve performance in reading ELA from fall to spring as measured by NWEA. So do they say how much improvement, like a 30% or 50% or what?
So,
How much?
so what we have is by school. And so of
Uh-huh.
course we leave it general here, but every school, when you look at the NWEA, the MyKIP, every school has a certain target that they're working with. Because if they started here, it's growing toward that 3%. But on the other hand, it's different for each of the schools because where they started and where they need to be. Okay.
So it goes by the school, not the individual child. Then,
Well, eventually it impacts every child, but when we're looking at measuring, to measure it, is by school.
okay,
Okay. And by grade level in those schools.
schools.
Okay.
So it's the same for the math then, right?
Same. And they're outlined. And what we do, Clark and I sit there and then give them the percentage of the schools. So they are working to an actual number. Okay. So that they got impacted. Like, for example, the partnership agreement school, we have two, Holmes and Ace. They have specific ones that they got to meet. And if they don't meet them, then there's more strict requirements from the MDE. So in essence, we're working hard to work on those with the schools. And so soon after this, card marking is when we'll figure out where they're at in detail and then did they make it or not? And if they did not make it, then they got to the next window and then they got to show progress. If they can't make progress, then we're in trouble. Okay. But we're being very intentional with the school. So we're working with the MDE 100% and the school to support them and give them all kinds of support. So in the process, we have secured multiple grants, additional staffing for those schools, put priority in hiring staff for those schools. You understand? The problem is, Ms. McCarty can speak, it's been challenging to find counselor. ACE does not have a counselor. ACE is missing an ELA teacher, is missing a science teacher. And so finding these staff is not as easy as you think, but we're doing everything we can and working with the state. And the other thing that we've done here, that even though we only have two schools as partnership school, we partner with the entire district. So all the schools, and the reason I did that so that no one falls into that. You follow me? We could stay out of by working hard on not falling into that. Okay. So I think the most informed we are in all we're working, our team is highly engaged. The other thing that we're doing and working with the MDE is that working with Liesel, Dr. Carlson, one of the things is allocating all kinds of resources. So one example is EWIMS. EWIMS is the MTSS for secondary education, and most of the districts don't have MTSS systems for secondary. They have it for K-5. But in our district, we are working with the team. And what she did is work with the state. And now each of our schools, secondary school, have one consultant for 30 hours. And they're doing that for free in our district, which the state is paying for them. And each person got one.
Dr.
So-
Lopez, let me just interrupt for 1 second, just to make sure your question. So you see here is the district network goals.
Mhm.
So they're the overall goals for all of the buildings. And then each building has their own MyKit plan, and those have the specific target numbers. And so that's where you're seeing, you're not seeing a specific growth target of, did they grow by 30% or are they growing by 10%? Because it's going to depend. And that how they measure that is, are they at grade level? So how far they are to grade level is going to be that percent gap of why each one will be different.
Okay. So for goal 1 for reading and math, did they meet that at the end of January 31st, 2024?
So some schools did and some schools did not.
Yeah.
And those are the schools we're having conversations. So what we're doing is you first got to get this data. And then once you got the data, then we bring the MyKIP team back to look at where we at. Then we sit there and look at that root cause. What got in the way? What do you need to do? And then they got to spend the rest from the February all the way through June, making sure and planning for summer to make sure that when the kids come back in the fall, they're in a good space. But we will, before we test in the spring, from here to spring, we're going to do a lot that we need to do intentional. So this is if we know that, let's say, I'm going to make up a school, but if one of our school, let's say a school, was not achieving and needed, then we're going to provide more intervention in that school, more support, more structure. And so those are how we're aligning supports to be able to support schools. So then that'd be if it's a program or something that's targeted. So once we identify and bring the team and they identify what their challenges and what they need to be doing, then we're going to provide them with the support, because no two schools need the same. And that's the challenge. The reality is we found that when you look at the middle school, they were struggling last year. So we put Read 180. So we set and I budgeted for, I wrote Peter to it's an expensive program, but look at the results. I mean, honestly, it's the whole perspective investment, and it's where we're putting the money. We put the money in the classroom with student learning, and that's what we're doing here. Allows that opportunity when he was talking about innovating, but innovating in the right way. Do you understand? And also making sure, because we have a multi-tier system for every individual level. We give, like for example, what I did to the principals already is yesterday, send them, once I got the test score, I send it to them and they got a report where which kids now need intervention. Okay, which one drop out, which one and so now the intervention for the rest of the year, they're switching these kids into priority. And so 9 over there in the middle school will identify how to bring these students into the mix who might have not been getting intervention before, because now they need.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
Yes.
So I want to pick up on that thread in just a minute. I also want to acknowledge the attendance challenges that you addressed. I know that we can't do anything for our students unless we're able to help them. We have more tools now because we have so many connections through the technology that we have available and things like roadmaps to help students continue their learning at home. I also know we're not in a post-COVID era yet. And I'm just doing the math right now and trying to think where the child in my own household might be on those absences. We've been sick a lot. And that is, that's a needle we got to thread, because we want to keep everyone healthy and we want to connect our students with the educational opportunities that we can offer them. So I recognize the challenges there, and this is one of the issues with trying to judge anybody on these test scores. I also just I appreciate everything you said about the interventions, and I know there's a format in which you have to present these data. You know how much I would love to see the actual distributions. Like when we look at the reading and math growth percentiles for the students in grades 9 through 12, I know we're looking at the averages, or however the averages are created for growth percentiles there. It doesn't show the full distribution. I would love to know how we're doing for our students who need the most support. So if there are future opportunities for data dives on that, I would love to look at the data with some more nuance and kind of see what the distributions that make up those averages look like. And stop there. Thank you for the presentation.
But I think you raised the whole thing. That's the data that Clark, we have gotten really, really good. The state is very impressed with what we do here. So in essence, we have that data for each of the building, right? And so the principals now have this data at their disposal that they could see. They could see their NWA, they could see the PSAT, the SAT, all of it in detail, and they can see it over time, right? So Clark has been very, very good in creating these tools that the principals can manipulate, the data team, the building network can utilize, etc. What I do want to highlight is that it's made me a little bit more intentional with money to support the schools, because dollars do make a difference. So I've been writing a lot of grants, and one of the grants that working with Dr. Secretary Ross is that I just finished. We're going to submit it tomorrow, but the grant is all completed. It's just I want to make sure that the communities and schools people give it the blessing, because I told them, hey, once I get it, can I send it to you to give me? Because I know that once we submit it, we're going to get this grant. Well, just to be very clear, because I don't want to highlight, but we had one of the schools that's having the biggest problem, actually happens to be the challenges with, and this is the reality, Holmes Elementary. I no disrespect to Holmes, but Holmes right now, 59% of our students are truant, right? And so we have a real challenge with the percentage of students' daily attendance in that school. So when I'm looking at that, what's contributing to that is a number of factors, right? But I also know that if we're going to change this, we need some funding. That principal is going to need money for incentives to to get the students, whatever. So one of the things that I was able to write with the communities in school is build within the budget a percentage of maybe $20,000 they could use for incentive. Let it be field trips, let it be whatever to entice kids to come to school. Also to have money to bring parents in to build that capacity, so when we're looking at developing that plan, is not only just apply for community school, but apply for community schools and provide other support. For the middle school and high school within that community schools, I also wrote for additional $50,000 for each one of those, so that we could pay students cap and gown. So that we could, I mean, you may think it's a little crazy, but we got to write all of that, because if we could take money from somewhere else, then money for incentives and whatever, or ways to motivate parents about, you follow me? My challenge for us is that our babies, the young ones, the biggest challenge here in when we're looking at attendance is Perry and Ford. It's an early learning center. The kids don't come, they don't take themselves to school. Parents bring them or put them on the bus. So those are some of the challenges. And so we need to do some work there, because the patterns start there. And so I just, not to be crazy, but I think Clark and myself are looking at data and all these patterns that you could see, and we're bringing the team together so that they could unwrap it. And so we'll continue working on this, but I heard, understood very clearly, at any point in time, you can sit with us like you've done in the past and take a look, because you'll be very impressed with the level of the data we're providing the schools and the supports we're providing to really interpret that. And it's very clear, because when you look at the middle school, for example, Nina and that team has actually really look at that data on an ongoing basis. I attend their data meetings, and it's refreshing to see the conversation, the rich conversation around that, and no different than your team up in at A's. I just think the reality is good efforts there. I just think that the other factors that we need to interject to engage our young people a little bit more. I just a thought. I'm sorry.
I just have a few quick ones. Thank you, Dr. Lopez, for sharing all of this important data for us to digest and look at. It's a good reminder of all that, has been done and all that we'll continue to do. In education, there are no magic bullets, and sometimes we get anxious and we want things to happen now, and it takes time. And to have your eye on kind of the areas that are outliers, and figuring out how we can target those interventions towards specific schools, specific students, I think is really, really important, and that we will continue to make steady progress as we have been. And we're not post, COVID yet. We would like to think that we are, but, I don't think we have yet to see all of those impacts and how we are kind of turning the tide. But we're doing, we're making a lot of good, steady progress. And, I guess one of my biggest just personal issues, I guess, with assessments always is just that they measure kind of a point in time. Many of our assessments do. And when we saw the presentation here from the middle school and hearing what's happening at the high school, there's so much more that makes up the learning and the development and the growth that our students are getting. And so we can't put everything into this, because we know there's so many other opportunities. But I'm glad to know that we have our finger on the pulse as to kind of what the outliers are, where we need to target our interventions. And I too, like Trustee Townsend mentioned, it would be great to have a report come back to the board about some of those resources that we have poured into the district to help with some of the truancy challenges that we face. And some of them we may just, they're just challenges that we might face. But I think it will be important to have some of that come back to the board by way of a presentation to give us an update on how things are going. So thank you so much, Dr. Lopez.
No problem. Thank you. And then one last thing, I do want to thank, I think it would be inappropriate for me to walk out here. I do want to thank all the teachers. I think our teachers work hard. and they are dedicating and their time for our students. And I really, thank you. Okay, and also for our administrators, you could see, just like Chelsea and Charles, every administrator we got here are fireballs. I yet to find anybody who wakes up in the morning and said they want to mess kids up. I think people here come with real decision and they're working really endless hours, and no matter what time you pick, you call them, they call me over the weekend and whatever. So it's an honor. It's an honor to work here because it provides all people who are so committed about our kids. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next that takes us to our first public comment portion for this evening. And before I call members of the public up to address the board, I'd like to read the public comment protocol, which reads as follows. Pursuant to Board of Education Policy 0167.3, the board recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express their views. Please limit statements to 3 minutes in duration. Participants shall direct all comments to the board and not to staff or other participants, and no person may address or question board members individually. All remarks shall be made in a respectful and professional manner. Brenda Stumbo.
Thank you. What a great presentation. My name is Brenda Stumbo and I am the Township Supervisor. I came before this great board at the end of the year with the good news that the district was getting $42 million from the state to pay off debt for YCS and Willow Run. That's huge. I know we had to wait a while and talking to our superintendent because the governor had not signed it, and she finally signed the allocation of the funds. And I'm really here to advocate and appreciate everything that you guys do and the teachers that are in the YCS, any teacher really. It's such a challenge, and I'm proud of all the work. The second time I've been here, I've heard 2 presentations. They were just so creative and innovative and from love for the children. And I remember we had an issue with truancy 10 years ago, and we were trying to address it. Some of the teachers had actually come to us and said, what can we do? Because these are babies, like they have to be in school. When I was going to school, we didn't have a choice. You know, we had to go, and if you didn't go as a parent, they were held accountable. So I don't know what it takes to get our children in school, but I know they want to come. We just have to figure out the root cause. And what I hear you saying is that's what you're doing. But 10 absences already was it 1,400 students? Did I hear that correctly?
I think
It's too many. It's just too many. So I don't know how we can help in any way as a local government, but we did adopt an ordinance about truancy and worked with Sheriff Clayton on it. And our goal is just to get the kids back in school. That's, not to punish people, but that was about 10 years ago we did that. So there is another tool that you don't ever want to go to unless you have to, but parents, guardians, adults, who's ever in charge of our babies, our children, they need to get our kids in school because they will fly if they do. So hearing that presentation just kind of reminded me of what happened 10 years ago. Washoe County is the 8th most economically segregated county in the United States of America. That came out in a report in 2020 from U of M. Any relief, and every financial relief we can give to our homeowners, our renters, our business owners will lead to more growth in taxable value. But right now, this debt was created during the merger in 2013. And I know you have the power to pay off the debt. And I just residents are asking me, when does it happen? And to be honest, I don't know. I know the July bill, the next bill goes out for the schools. So as we start talking about it, we need to start preparing for it, and I don't know if there's any update in the near future we can get on that. If there is, I would greatly appreciate it and share it with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda Stumbo. Next, we have Veronica Boderi. Did I say that wrong? Thank you, Boderi, Veronica Boderi.
Thank you. Good evening, Dr. Hawkins, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Zachary Ross. So a month ago, I had received a phone call. And it was my son. Mom, I've just been hit by a car. It happened right next to Estabrook. Yes, that was my son. He was off for the remainder of the week, and things like that. And he never received, we had a couple of phone calls from staff, at the school, at the high school, and checking in on him. Staff was very welcoming. They went and picked him up and held on to him until I could get to my boy. And everything. But the one person who I personally felt should have called him was a social worker. He never received that phone call. He never received a phone call from a social worker, and he is special education. I know at the last board meeting, special ed was brought up. Here's a prime example. A great, I shouldn't say it great, an unfortunate event, but an opportunity for special ed to reach out. And that never happened. It's actually very sad. If you're asking right now, he is doing okay. He has a fractured femur that goes into the knee joint. And the other piece, I want to talk about the safety, because it did not happen on school property, but it did happen around school property. Many of Ipsy's students walk to school. At 6:45 in the morning for a high school student, it is dark. Mansfield and Cross Street are dark. There might be street lamps and stuff like that, and I understand that the board and the district cannot do anything about city property. I understand that. But what I am asking is to keep all of our babies safe who are walking. Please, I ask the board, think of a way if we can get crossing guards. I know crossing guards are at the intersection where he got hit, but they're only there when Estabrook is in session. The same thing, he crosses Washtenaw at Mansfield because we live right across the street from Eastern. And he's been walking this route for almost 5 years. My apologies, I will make it very fast. There is a crossing guard there that I also understand is being provided by Wyma or Y-High. Where is the crossing guard for Packard and Cross Street? Where is the crossing guard? So I'm offering a suggestion. Many people need to do volunteer hours. I don't know if it's this way that it used to be in high school where they had to have so many volunteer hours or something like that, or organizations that say, oh, you can pay this or you can have volunteer hours. Maybe that might be a benefit of volunteer hours. Be a crossing guard, sign up, keep it up, keep our kids safe. That's what I'm asking for the board to keep in mind. If it was your babies, your grandkids, wouldn't you want your kids to be safe? My son is afraid to walk to school anymore. And I don't know what to do as a parent. He's afraid to walk just past the school bus that's running when I drop him off at school. The social workers in the high school right now, and I give a great shout out to Miss Kim. She has been his rock since he got back to school. So, along with Dr. Hugan and Miss Ayers and Miss Westfall and majority of the ninth grade team have been a real good rock for him. But I do ask that a program be put in place to keep the baby safe, but also for mental health, for situations just like this, to where they specialize in just reaching out, even if the kids are off. Maybe that's a volunteer from some social workers. I don't know. I know that they are overworked. And I understand that. And there's not enough hours in a day. I get it. But that's, I ask you to just consider. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the board, Veronica. And while it is not our practice to respond to members of the public, I do want to say that we are glad that your son is doing better. And please accept our apologies that no one from Estabrook reached out to you. We don't know the details as to what happened or why, and it's neither here nor there. The bottom line is your concerns have been noted by the board. And whatever we can do to make these routes safer for our children. Safety is the top priority, I know, of our administration, of our district, and certainly of this board. So thank you for being here tonight, and I'm glad that your son is doing better. I don't believe that we have, let's see, is Tashia Wilson here in the audience this evening to address the board? Veronica was our last public comment this evening. Next, that takes us to our consent agenda. Is there a motion at this time?
Madam President, Vice President Lee, move that the Board of Education approve the January 22, 2024 regular board meeting minutes. 2, personnel matters as per the presented list dated 2/6/24, new hires, resignations, and terminations.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Vice President Lee. Is there support for this motion?
Support, Trustee Gately.
Thank you. Supported by Trustee Gainsleigh. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to an action item under Human Resources, the approval of the Director of our facilities contract. Is there a motion at this time?
Madam President, Vice President Lee, move that the Board of Education approve the Director of Facilities contract of Jonathan Birchwell with the commencement date of February 16, 2024.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Vice President Lee. Is there support for this motion? Thank you. Supported by Trustee Fields. Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, a motion was made by Vice President Lee, supported by Trustee Fields. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Is it Jonathan Birchwell? Welcome to YCS. Would you like to stand up and say anything? You don't have to. We don't want to put you on the spot. All right. Mr. Virtual, I stand corrected. Welcome back. Glad to have you. Next, that takes us to the approval of our Beatty Early Learning Center Principal Employee Contract. Is there a motion at this time?
Madam President, Vice President Lee, move that the Board of Education approve the Beatty Early Learning Center principal contract of Keaton Atchison with the commencement date of March 4, 2024. I hope I pronounced that right.
Thank you. Well enough. Okay. A motion was made by Vice President Lee. Is there support for this motion? Thank you. Supported by Trustee Fields. Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, a motion was made by Vice President Lee, supported by Trustee Fields. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Congratulations, and tell us your name so we don't mispronounce it. Keaton Atchison? Atchison? Names are important, so they are?
Keaton?
Okay. Mr. Atchison,
Mr. Atchison.
welcome to YCS.
Can't wait to get started, after being in the meeting and hearing all the things going on in high school and middle school, made me really feel like, this is somewhere I need to be after having my initial interview and then interviewing with, Dr. Patrick Ross as well. So like, this is it, so I'm glad to be here, can't wait to get started on the board. Thank you.
Glad to have you. Congratulations. All right, next that takes us to action item number 10 under business and finance, which is the acceptance of the renewal of the eye observation system. Is there a motion at this time? Thank you. A motion has been made by Trustee Fields. Is there support for this motion?
Support Trustee Townsend.
Thank you. Supported by Trustee Townsend. Any discussion? Seeing none, a motion was made by Trustee Fields, supported by Trustee Townsend. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Next, that takes us to the acceptance of the renewal of the SAMS project. Is there a motion at this time?
Madam President, this is Trustee Gainsley. I move that the Board of Education accepts the attached quote for renewing the SAMS project for the amount of $96,325.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Trustee Gainsley. Is there support for this motion? Thank you. Supported by Trustee Fields. Any discussion? Motion made by Trustee Gainsley, supported by Trustee Fields. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to action item number 11, which is the acceptance of the vote for Vice President Lee to the MASB Board of Directors. Is there a motion at this time?
Trustee Townsend move that the Board of Education accepts the vote for Sharon Lee to the MASB Board of Directors.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Trustee Townsend. Is there support for this motion? Support, Trustee Gainsley. Thank you. Supported by Trustee Gainsley. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. We wish you all the best. Vice President Lee, just one clarifying question. Will this vote be cast by you, Ms. Haynes? Okay, just wanted to clarify that. Thank you. And thank you for all the background information on it. Next, that takes us to our second public comment portion for this evening. Have any public comment cards come in? Thank you, Mr. Rose. That takes us to our discussions under item number 13. Any Board of Education subcommittee reports at this time? All right, thank you. Okay. Thank you, Trustee Fields.
When will that meeting be? You said for communication? Oh, well, no, that's all right.
Communications.
No, that's okay.
Vice President Lee.
We can give you the date.
Okay. Okay. Any other subcommittee reports? Or any subcommittee reports? All right, that takes us to the second reading of our Neola policy updates. This came before the board at our last meeting. This is our second reading, and our second reading will lead to an adoption of these policy updates.
But there's no. It's still the same, right?
They are still the same. That was, Ms. McCarty went through all of them at our last board meeting. We had an opportunity to ask questions, but they have to come back to the board just for a second reading to see if the board has any questions on, any of the policies. So we'll move to, action item number 14, which is the adoption of the policy updates. Is there a motion at this time?
Vice President Lee move that the Board of Education adopt the Thorn policy updates as presented. Special update November 2023.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Vice President Lee. Is there support for this motion? Thank you. Supported by Trustee Fields. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to board superintendent comments. Are there board comments at this time?
Madam President, I do have some updates from the Washtenaw Area School Board Association. Just so that you can put on your calendars, there should be some invites coming down. We will have our annual meeting on March 14th at 6 p.m. We'll be doing some professional development, and I know they are seeking to do to get us some updates regarding the PARE law changes, and also they may also be talking about AI. So just keep that on your schedule for that. Also, I'm just going through my notes. The annual executive board will be at 6 p.m. and then the actual board of directors meeting will be at 6:30. Anybody is welcome to come, and then the PD will start at 7 p.m. and that will be out. I think they might have it. Is it Honey Creek? Am I saying it right? They may have it at the actual Honey Creek facility. Okay, and then the next board of directors meeting will be June 13th. The next legislative coffee schedule will be on May 20th, 2024 at 7:30 a.m. And that's where they'll be giving out the MASB awards. And then our annual budget meeting will be done by Zoom on April 18th at 6 p.m. So just be on the lookout for your invites from the WASB. We will also be at the annual meeting, I believe, no, not at the, at the annual meeting, we'll also be looking to vote in new officers for that as well. Trustee Goodrich will be representing to be on the nominating committee for us. So she will have a team of other board members that will be able to help support in nominating who our next officers will be. And I believe that is it.
Thank you, Trustee Townsend. Did you say May 20th was the next legislative breakfast? Did I get that date right?
I want to say, yes, May 20th
Okay.
at 7:30 a.m. And we'll still continue. It is an in-person event, but we are also cognizant of people's work schedules too. So I will always push for a hybrid option. So you don't have to ask, I already put it in there. Oh, and then I forgot to mention the Literacy Coalition of Washtenaw County will be hosting a campaign kickoff initiative on March 10th. That is a Sunday from 1 to 5 p.m. WCC is the sponsor, and we will be having individuals speak in regards to the literacy crisis that we currently have in Washtenaw County. Our own Dr. Carlos Lopez will be one of the panelists, but this event is geared toward getting all of our leaders out, partners in the community, just so that we can increase volunteerism with tutoring, and any other support stuff to support the group as far as the collaborators. So we have a group of people such as Washtenaw Literacy, Mentor to Youth, our community reads. So all of those different partners that are out focusing on literacy and providing support to the community, this is what this meeting is, to discuss how we can work together to push literacy. And that's all I have, Madam President.
Thank you, Trustee Townsend, for all those updates. Other board comments at this time?
I didn't see me getting there, but I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, though, but I'm sure, but yeah, but I wanted to say, kudos to you. That's a great idea. Might be next. You never know. Never know when you're coming up.
Other board comments? Thank you, Trustee Fields.
I guess I wanted to. When we all, as a board, got the text message that a student had been hit by a car in front of one of our schools, it hurts. I know, like, each one of us is pained every time a student is hurt in any way, even if it's a medical emergency. But I think that the car encounters in particular are particularly harmful and tragic because they're preventable. And so I wanted, even if the parent hadn't come tonight, I wanted to echo that comment, and I think restate a dedication to finding ways to prevent those accidents. This is obviously this off our property, but these are our students trying to access our schools. I wish that Supervisor Stumbo had stayed to hear the rest of that comment, because one of the things that is really powerful in preventing some of these accidents is actually infrastructure. And so the city of Ypsilanti redid a huge chunk of West Cross Street to reduce the lane widths, to add parking, to add those pedestrian islands, to do some really nice crossings. And then when we hit the township side, which is in front of our high school, it's a really wide street. The cars are moving really fast. And so I think there are opportunities to potentially work with our partners at the township to think about how we could reduce speeds on some of those roads and make physical improvements to those roads, as well as improve the crossings. And I would love to see crossing guards. I'll also just kind of state that Safe Routes to School is a great program that's run by the state of Michigan, and it has to be very grassroots. It has to be run by families, parents, PTOs, and folks who are at that school, but you can get grant funding to put forward improvements that would improve school safety. And so if there is anyone, out there in our listening community, anyone at some of our individual schools who would like to work on those issues, that's definitely something that I would love to help you write the grants, help us, get that to happen, because it's a really important issue.
What that data is, what are they getting, what are the results from that? What does that look like? Because when that take care of these happening, we have what is important, I don't know if you're getting that or giving us that data. I just was gonna say, they're doing a study on that. They also are doing a crossing guard study. They wanted to not have the crossing guard on Mansfield this year because we have so few students walking in that area. They thought they would move it to make it go down closer towards White High. And we said, no, they actually have the data on all of our all of our walks. And so they've been doing this, collecting the data for several years now. And so, it didn't warrant, like she mentioned the Packer, it didn't warrant the numbers for a crossing guard. And so that's why we might have to do something different, because there's a certain level of walkers or crossers. They actually thought Estabrook was closed because the numbers were so little of walkers. And we had to clarify that, no, it's not closed. It's just a lot of them are bussers. And so we advocated to keep the crossing guard there. I didn't realize the hours were, because I'm like, no, they're there. So that's a very good, that's why we love public comment, because it gives us insight. But I do want to get the data on the drive too, because we did talk to both families, and that, going through that area over 25 is a concern, and being distracted drivers oftentimes. The person was very remorseful, and was dropping off a student also at the high school. And so we know that those areas of crossing, and even at 25, is still a safety issue, and we want, no matter what, we got to make sure our students are safe. But they are doing, just know, I know she mentioned it, but they are doing the crossing guard studies right now.
Okay. And I know that there's that. The other one that was raised recently is some of the issues along Mansfield in front of that High building. And in particular, the fact that there aren't sidewalks along Congress. And so there's students who are basically walking in the street, especially when there's snow. And so, I know that isn't our program, but it is our building. And so I think it's another place where that there would be opportunities to hopefully partner with the High administration to look at improvements there as well.
Other board comments? Great comments. Thank you, Trustee Gaisley. I have just a few. I would be interested in knowing about I guess ways that as a board we could even advocate for more safety. I travel this path just going to Eastern a lot, and no one, I haven't seen anybody except me, like cars were just going around me like I was doing something wrong. I was like, well, I'm doing 22 because this is a school zone, but cars are really zooming down Packer all the time, and I'm not sure what the data is showing. Or maybe people are just going slower when they have the, you're going too fast, sign up. I'm not really sure, but I hope something can be done from an advocacy standpoint so that we have a safer route here. And to your point, Trustee Gaisley, about the sidewalks along Congress, it would be nice to have sidewalks for students to walk. My comments are, I have a lot of stuff jotted down, so I'll try to go through it pretty quickly. I want to first start off by saying congratulations to Dr. Zachary Ross on her award. I want to give you a round of applause for that. Amazing. It was nice to get that little news flash about you showing up at MLive for all the work you're doing in our district. Also, it's NAPIT Day. I had an opportunity to visit some of the schools. There was a wonderful play at Estabrook today. One of our parapros, Tamika Collier, directed it. It was like fantastic and wonderful and all of that. So it was nice to get in some of the buildings today and to be at the Divine Nine Scholarship, to see, so many students there with lots of energy, and Trustee Townsend was there. Just excited about their senior year, excited about college, excited about the opportunity to get scholarships to help to pay for their education. So that it was just good to be in the space with so many of our students, and knowing that graduation is like on the horizon. It's like, where did the time go? And the play, it's Black History Month. I'm excited about that. I don't think I have anything else. If I did, if it comes back to me, I'll mention it. But if there are no other board comments, Dr. Zachary Ross, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Madam President. I was going to again reiterate Napa Day. Thank you to our parents who came out and guardians. Thank you to our staff who just really, each building had something unique. So thank you to all of those persons who were able to participate. Thank you to all of you, and I know two of you were here for the scholarship platform for the Divine Nine. I just want to thank anyone who's listening, who was here today working with our students and McDonald's, just all of the support that our students had. They were so excited and were really engaged. And so we're just loving seeing the engagement that our students have and the interest that they have in looking at what's next for them. We had today also, Vice President Lee was there at both playground dedications for Perry and Ford. It was a beautiful day for it. And so, and Erin Rose is there. Thank you, Erin, for Director Rose for just getting those playgrounds put in place. They said the one at Perry, they had to take the doors off in order to make it work and re-put the doors back on. And the students were just so excited. Some of them were so excited that during the ceremony, they were trying to run and get on the equipment. And so we just thank those parents that came out and the WISD and the Michigan Department of Head Start for supporting that, the funds for that program, for those playgrounds. Tomorrow, Just a Kid from IPSI is at YCHS from 10 to 1. And so we got a lot of alumni coming out and participating, and we're excited about it. So thank you in advance to those. And then the 14th, happy Valentine's Day to everyone, and it's count day. So please, as we heard about attendance, if you're sick, if you're safe and not sick, let your child come to school, bring yourself to school, come to school for count day. There's a lot of fun activities and engaging activities that our buildings have in store for you. And then lastly, just a reminder that there's a half day on Friday. The 16th is Professional Development Day and no school for winter break on Monday, the 19th.
I did have one more comment. Go ahead. No, you go ahead. Did you say happy birthday? Oh, that's what I was going to say.
No, you don't have to.
Oh, yes, I do. Right. It is rare that a board member is at a board meeting on the day of their birthday. So that is something to celebrate. And we love you and we want to celebrate you. So on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, thank you. That was beautiful. And also, thank you, ladies, for your vote. I truly appreciate you guys. I do.
We're trying to get you out of here to enjoy what's left of your birthday.
Oh, I gave up on that.
You gave up on
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Okay. Well, the
It's
night
all
is
right.
still young.
Yeah. Stop. I will go home.
Okay. That's a good deal. Anything else before we adjourn this evening? Okay, the time is 8:47. We are adjourned.